Welcome to B&B Studios, the home of Central Coast Rugby. Let's get stuck into another week of opinions and oversights from Berner and Barthy as they bring us the latest news. Good chat, good footy, good fun. Take it away, boys.
Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of the B&B Unplugging Central Coast Rugby podcast. Put your glasses back on, mate.
No, I'm not ready.
Well, Barthy is kicking off the episode with a bit of sad news. Take it away.
Yeah, mate. It's really sad news came about on Friday last week. Just putting out a Vale for Grant Mould, who's a great man of Central Coast Rugby and in particular Trojans Rugby. Many people knew Grant. He came up early 90s from sort of playing in Randwick and he started playing at the Terrigal Club, and it was really been lauded with turning the club around. They'd had a few sort of lean years in the late 80s and a lot of in early 90s, some very lean years, and Mouldy's very much credited by the guys that was around, that played with him and went on and to become part of that 94 premiership side. They very much said Grant turned the club around and took that club and they made the 92 grand final against the almighty Carryong side of the day and were competitive again in 93 and then winning the comp under his father joined the club then in 94 and anyway they won the comp. But I just really wanted to actually, this interesting one with Mouldy. I haven't seen him for a few years. He's moved up to Foster and caught up with him a couple of golden oldies. And during Friday, we you knew it was Crook and obviously he passed away. He's very young, early 60s, 60 maybe. And anyway, found it really, really difficult. And I've actually found myself sort of breaking down emotionally when I was trying to tell people about it, and I was sort of it's always a sad sort of thing, but it wasn't. So I sort of sat back for a little while, and on Sunday I'm sort of thinking, why is this tearing me, getting at me so much? Obviously impacted all my really close mates and who people I consider sort of family from my playing days, and it wasn't until Sunday afternoon I actually pinpointed that why it was cutting me up so much was I actually learnt to love the game through Mouldy. And I just showed up and played footy, and I was just happy to drink beer, hang out with mates, But mate, Mouldy really taught me the nuances and the spectacular little things in the game that make it different and better than anything else. And just taught me to love it, and it wasn't until I sort of came to that realisation that I couldn't quite put my finger on it, and rugby's become a big part of my life, and I'm I absolutely love the game, but that passion and love came through Mouldy, and
it's unreal, isn't it?
Yeah, and really, really sad for him. Way too young to die. His two happiest places were on the rugby field and in the water surfing, and it's really sad, and thoughts and prayers go out to sort of Lisa, his wife Dylan, and Bianca, his kids. But really, really, really sad news. Just one of the greatest humans, always up for a laugh, and just a really good fella. So some really sad news, and thoughts and prayers to all those affected by it.
I think it is such a special thing though, because as you said, with that person who makes you enjoy rugby, and I think we've all got that kind of one person at the club that made them really see it, that this is what rugby's about, and that's why you sort of stick around. That's why you keep playing the game. Yeah. Regardless of the times you're going through, and I think that's a special thing. So, obviously, condolences to his family as well.
Yeah.
On to some more positive news, mate. We're up to round 7.
Let's do it.
And we got 5. We've got 5 rounds we've played now.
Yes.
So, again, we haven't had a round where everything's gone as scheduled just yet, but that doesn't matter too much. Obviously, some issues up at the lakes again, up at Slade Park. Flooding of the grounds again.
Yeah. Yeah, mate. Global warming in effect, isn't it, really? It's, mate.
If you don't believe in it, you have to now.
Well, mate, I tell you what. It never flooded when I was playing. That was a long time ago. Global warming. Here we go. It's here. It's here
you
to
need
stay.
Proof. There it is.
Yeah, exactly right.
Game's getting moved. Right, do you want to get into it?
Let's do it.
Right, well, Barthy, results from round 7, thanks to Gus and the team at Erina Podiatry. Give Erina Podiatry a plug while you're loading your phone up.
Yep, they're good. All right, there we go.
As all Gus's sponsorship money is absolutely stoked right now.
So I guess the match of the round we always thought was going to be a tight one. The Avoca Beach women beating the Wildcat women. Avoca Beach winning 17 points to 5. That was hosted up at Woongarra. A good game of rugby, 3 tries to 1. And congratulations to the Avoca Beach side. I think it was a much needed win for them. I think that'll get their momentum going, and I think it's a really good opportunity for the Warnervale women to go, you know what, we're there or thereabouts. They were competitive against Terrigal there, and a good tight tussle against the Avoca Beach side. You know, so we know the Wildcat women are there, so it's a good match. And then we move on to the Terrigal women absolutely putting the cleaners through. You know them. They're not Karimba yet. The Oranbong women.
The Oranbong women. Fortunately, Oranbong continues. Sorry, scoreline.
54 points to 0.
Yeah, it's not a Karimba scoreline.
And no, it's not. It's absolutely not. And Sian George, 6 tries. So
6 tries.
Yeah,
I didn't see
outstanding
that.
effort. She's lightning fast and just beautiful. Runs the ball really well. Lovely balanced runner. But I got some bad news. Terrigal, you need to be listening, Trojan women. So let me just count this for a sec. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, actually, I didn't need to count. I could have just done the maths. But anyway, 10 tries.
Counting's better using your fingers like you're just doing.
10 tries, 2 conversions. Success rate, 20%.
It's not good, is it?
No, it's rubbish. Absolutely rubbish.
Who's the kicker? Or who did get one? Because I don't know. I also don't know if that. I love it. If it's Lou Fay, then don't.
She kicked one.
Did she?
Yeah, she kicked one.
She would have been brought on at number 10. Like, that would have been the 10th try. And we need to slot one
it
now. That's
probably was from the sideline as well.
Yep.
Yep. And
Left-footed.
Sian George, she kicked one as well. So, a massive win. And come on, Oranbong. We need you to pick your act up. So we want to. Oh shit! We want to start calling you Karimba. I've done that 2 weeks in a row. So
it's gonna be a party when they win.
Yeah, absolutely. We probably won't be invited, but
I don't think we will.
No.
Well, we could have if you stuck with a good name first of all, but obviously we've made our bed and we're going to lay in it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm very passionate. I believe that Oranbong need to pull their socks up if they want to be called Karimba. It's as simple as that. It's not rocket science.
Next game. That was it.
No, that's it, mate. That's it.
That's right. It's only 2 games.
Lakes had the bye and
myself.
Hornsby women had the bye. Great to see the Hornsby women, though. Just a quick shout out to them who on their socials, they all got up and travelled to Woy and went up and supported the club, even though they didn't have a game. So
that's good stuff.
Yeah, good bonding experience for those women. So
Or for the line off. They were there for the line off.
Well, no, the line off doesn't exist because freaking Woy have lost the shield. Or
I'd be losing the shield as well, though.
Or they haven't.
On to the men's.
Yeah, okay.
Woy versus Hornsby. This was a trouncing. 89 points to
22.
22.
I was going to do some sums here. So you just start talking, I'll start counting.
Yep. So most of the tries were scored in the first first half anyway. I think the second half was like 27 to 22 or something like that in the second half. But the first half, we fielded the game with 12 players, which is not – it's a bold tactic. I would have tried 15 on 15. But they ran the field with 12 and obviously got many points put on in the early stages. So, mate, not great signs if you're running on, if you're finding out who's just starting 15, 20 minutes into the game.
You want to know how many tries were scored in the match?
How many tries?
17 tries were
17 tries.
Yep. Four by Woy.
Yep.
And 13 by Hornsby. Yep. Now, hang on. 12 from 13 with the boot.
Who?
Hornsby.
That is
Hornsby
unreal.
kicked 12 from 13. Hunter Bird, the outside centre, his name's there a hell of a lot. Harry Fox snuck in for 1. And, mate, you wouldn't believe it, Name Withheld got a couple as well.
Really?
Yeah. So
continues to trouble the scorers.
Yeah. So massive win.
Huge win. I think a lot of points earlier. obviously alarm bells for Woy Woy.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
You know, Hornsby are a team that if you want to make any mark in this competition, just where Hornsby is sitting, you got to put in a good performance against them, and it did in the second half. But I mean, it's tough going there at the moment if you're running out with 12 players and you're just sort of trying to get second graders to put the jerseys on to get out there. So I think we have forfeited their thirds now.
Yeah, they've pulled out of the competition.
They've pulled out of the thirds to sort of focus on seconds and firsts. So, obviously, not good signs. But I was talking to one of Jazz, who's the captain of Woy Woy, about it because, I've been there many times before myself in a team that is struggling, and you're getting sort of pumped every week and sort of asking how it's going. And one thing he always said, he goes, like, we're losing, but he's like, I love it. I still love playing. Yeah. And there's a core group of guys there. And, he was saying, like, we're losing and stuff, but they don't have a lot of players and a lot of, the committee and stuff are obviously working really hard, and they've got the people there, but they got the quality, but not the quantity. That makes sense. Yep. And that's where you get people that are obviously completely overworked. But, it's not an ideal situation to sort of be in. But then I think back, I played from 2008 to 2013 in a side that I was like, I'm never making finals. Like, I never thought I'd play finals football at all in rugby. And then 2013, got pumped by nearly 100 every single week, and then won the comp in 2014. So, the people that are there are the same people that turned the club around once. So I think I know they're working hard to do the same thing, but at the moment, danger signs at the moment for them results wise. Yeah,
well, I think it's really important that Woy respectfully don't hit the panic button. They put in some really good structures and put some hard work in last year to try and rid the club of a few try and take the club in a different direction.
Yep.
And I really hope that in the pursuit of maintaining competitiveness, I really hope they don't lose sight of what they were trying to achieve last year.
I don't think they have, but I think it's, you obviously get to a point where you're not getting the players there, and that's where the frustration comes, and it is a bit of a snowball effect. And I think that's where they are at the moment. But in saying that, you've still got that core group of players there, and while they're playing and they might not know who's going to be their team every week, which is obviously ideal to know. They're still enjoying playing their rugby, and they're still, having the post-match socials and doing all that sort of stuff. That's an important part of rugby. And I think maybe we were spoilt last year with such a close competition where there wasn't anyone who are the whipping boys, and now you got a team that's getting done every week, and maybe that's taking the focus a bit more. But I think 4 years ago, there was always two teams that were getting flogged by 70 or so every single week. So
I think also too we shouldn't discredit the Hornsby and their turnaround, and we all know you can lose a lot of weight through diarrhea, and so they've obviously their game weight's dropped and they're a bit lighter on their feet, and I'm guessing they could do that 100 metres a bit quicker.
They can also burn them on the edges. Basically, was the game plan for the weekend.
Yeah, so. That Vindaloo that went through the team has obviously done them some really some positive things, and they put the ringer through the Woy Woy Lions. Anyway, I think we've crapped on about that long enough. What do you reckon?
I think we have to. Crapped on's a great
boom boom. Good stuff, Hornsby, and on the move, on the way back up.
Yep. Next game,
mate, I'll tell you what we've got. We've got three absolute cracking matches, the next three games. And we knew that, and we spoke about it last week. I'll start with the match that was moved. Yep. The Carrong Wanderers getting up in a tight one with 33 points to 24. We had, 5 tries to 4, and it was the boot of Lachie Peruch. It was the difference in between the two teams. And obviously it was a competitive match. Unfortunately, we had a fairly major injury.
Yeah, Ben Kafer at the end went down with a dislocated hip.
Yeah,
which is not a very pleasant injury to sustain. So, and the game got called then. But I think regardless of what that sort of game ended up, obviously a tight tussle with what we sort of expected in Carrong getting the win, but when something like that and get an injury, and I think the other two games are very similar in that there was a serious injury that happened in the game. It's just one of those things that you unite as a rugby community and go, okay, well, although this game is important and Lakes want to win it, there's no point in keeping going on with this when you got a player that's in that sort of pain and everything. So game did end short, but Carrong still won the majority of the game. So and carrying on a heater at the moment, playing really well.
Oh, mate, and I just frothed on. I touched a little bit about Mouldy at the start and the love of what rugby is. I was absolutely frothing on the socials that the Lakes and the Wanderers were putting up, that both teams sort of getting together for their cup, their challenge cup. So a great win for the Carrong Wanderers. I'm concerned for the Lakes. And what I mean by that is I know there's still plenty of time, but they need to start winning games. They've got to start winning them regularly. They're 1 from 4 now, I think. And they it's not going to get easier, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're a bloody good rugby side, we know that, but they need to start playing.
I think that's the part of the potential's easily there. I said it last week, they're easily a top 3 side.
Yeah.
But it's just they're just not winning those games. I know it's circumstance on the weekend obviously a bit.
But you've got to start, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You've got to win those games regardless of what the circumstances are. They've got to put they've got the W's now. And they've got to start doing that because it's only a top 5 and you've got a very, very competitive sort of top 7. So
yeah, absolutely. And at this point in time, mate, anyone in that 7, they're all beating each other. And an example of that is the next game up at Woongarra. Excuse me. The Avoca Beach side getting the victory, 27 points to 12.
Who did you tip for this one?
I can't remember. I think I tipped Warnervale.
Yeah.
Wasn't surprised. I knew it was going to be a tight one. I actually think the Avoca Beach side have balanced out that team, and I think they've got a little bit more attacking players. When I have a quick look at their lineup, they got a few more attacking sort of style players that are playing in those wider channels, which is really important. It's been probably their Achilles heel, if I'm being fair, in my own personal opinion. And so, not only now can they grind you down and get you into a tight tussle affair, they've also got that speed and elusive players in those wider channels. And that's to be honest, that's where I thought Warnervale would have sort of knocked them off. I thought they would have been well enough to match them up in that area. But yeah, a great victory for the Avoca Beach side. So really, really sort of making those sort of upper positions interesting. They now leap over Warnervale and are leading the competition.
I think it's a bit the opposite. Avoca's season's going a little bit the opposite to the Lakes. In that all those games where we sort of see 50-50, Avoca are winning all of them.
Yeah.
Avoca have got up in all of those games. Whether it started the season against Carrierong and then moving up to playing the Razorbacks the week after. Yeah. Everything that's those games that are sort of 50-50 and we're unsure where they're going to go, they're getting over. They only just lost to Terrigal. Yeah. So they're getting those wins. So I think their season's starting a little bit the opposite of what we touched on with the Lakes.
Obviously, Mick Burgess, the coach, is doing a great job. Shout out to, I remember, Matt Anderson played his 300th game.
That's unreal.
So, got a couple of milestones. And just a reminder too, we get some... it's awesome. Tag us in the milestones. Let us know. We record probably 90% of the time on a Monday evening.
Yep.
So if you can get us in early, that would be great because we'd love to wrap up the players leading into their milestone games because I know Clint Guyot, he had a couple of major milestones in the Terrigal game, which we'll touch on very shortly. So, congratulations to Ando and to the Avoca Beach side on a great victory and now leading the competition. All right, mate, the last game we had at the Pigpen, the Razorbacks getting the job done over the Terrigal Trojans, 25 points to 14. A game that was sort of interrupted, which we'll touch on later with a serious injury, but a tight one, 2 tries each, and just a penalty try and some penalty conversions of difference. So it's obviously Terrigal's discipline letting them down there, and a big ups and a great victory for the Razorbacks. So what a win.
Huge win. And that's what I'm arguing about last week with, Terrigal probably should have got the win, but that's what was that. Razorbacks always get up at home against Terrigal.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened here. Grangey, the people's number 7 now.
Yeah,
unfortunately. How do you feel about that?
Despite that, they still won.
Yeah. So I think that's a bit of the Achilles heel. I think it's probably needs to go back to the halves there. But that is unreal from the Razorback side. So, and even for them to get that win, we still say Terrigal is the benchmark in this competition. And they're proving that time and time again. So for them
I
to
don't
get
know
that win.
I don't know if they are, mate, to be
Well,
honest.
I think
anymore.
before the weekend, I think they definitely were. I think it's because they're not losing to anyone for you to think otherwise. And I still think there's no one they're getting pumped by or anything, or they're losing by 20 points or something to go, okay, well, you may be back down here. Because they haven't suffered a loss like they just did on the weekend.
Yeah.
And what was the score again?
25-14.
25-14. So they're not losing by much. It's an 11-point loss, and that's a big loss for them. 11 points.
Yeah, I guess. We spoke about so that aura.
Yeah.
And I'm by no means, absolutely no means. So everyone in Terrigal listening, just relax. I'm by no means putting a line through them. I guess I'm just saying maybe they're not that as far ahead as we thought they were.
Well, you got to come down sometime, don't you?
Yeah, and that's the challenge for the coach and the club, and obviously that they're very strong in player numbers and that sort of thing. It may have just been an off day. I wasn't at the match, so I can't tell. But
those moments in those games, watch plenty of Terrigal Razorback games over the last few years, and it just comes down to moments and who wins those moments. There's so many things that it's just a turnover. Like it's a turnover on halfway that it's a quick counter attack. It's just a penalty goal from 40 out. Like there's so many moments in games that is a 6 points. Like 11 points is nothing. When you spend it out of like 11 points is nothing. And that's, as you said, just penalties. It's just that offside. It's just that taking a step. It's all those kind of things, small things.
It's just that lose you the game.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not a threat,
But hang on to also, sorry to cut you off. Well done, Razorbacks.
It's unreal. I think that's exactly what they needed to get themselves back on track in terms of being a real force. Because
there's no way in the world I would have said the Razorback team that started at the start of the year and how they were looking.
Yeah,
there's no way in the world they would have.
Not a chance. Yeah. Even listening to Nick talk before the season started about look, we just don't know who we got this year, and then seeing their team round one was very much what Nick said. We don't know who we got this year.
Yeah.
So then leading into, and they're starting to get all their players back now, of a few familiar faces as well, and obviously the players that they're bringing back, they're just such skilled rugby players. They've got so much experience in that side. Yeah, and that would have been the differences there on the day.
So big congratulations to the Razorbacks. Now, Bernard, I'm just going to go through the ladder. So Avoca Beach are on top on 19 points. The Carryong Wanderers are in second place on 16 points. The Warner Vale Wildcats are on 15 points. The Razorbacks on 14. Hornsby are on 10. The Lakes are on 10. Terrigal are on 9. Gosford are on 5. And Woolwee are on 1 point.
We didn't mention we got a point on the weekend there for your first point.
Yeah, well done.
Well done.
So, having said that, though, Terrigal are still only classed as playing 3 games. For some reason, the 5 points for the forfeit hasn't been awarded to them yet. I'm not sure why that is, but every other team has played 4 or 5 games. So, when you put that into play, that puts Terrigal onto 14 points, which then makes a less than 2 game difference between 7th to 9th. 7th to 1st.
That's unreal.
It's good, isn't it? How exciting.
It's good. It's good to keep the tightness of what we had last year.
Yeah, and I love the fact that it's not Terrigal or Rimba and your predictable top 5.
Yeah,
I love the fact that we've got different clubs in all competing and.
Well, you remember when we did this 3 years ago? Whenever we started, that it was Terrigal Razorbacks, and it was like probably Lakes is your third.
Yeah,
and then it was between. Sort of Carrying one in the shot, just between really Hornsby and Avoca for that 5th spot, and that was it. But no one was really in that top 2. It was only Lakes that could really have a crack at the top 2. But now you got everyone who can beat everyone.
Yeah,
which is obviously what you want. So unreal. Injuries, mate.
Yeah, mate. We had a few, didn't we?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Had some fairly major injuries.
We touched on the injury to Ben Kafer.
Yeah, dislocated hip.
Yep.
Matt King hurt his neck.
Yeah.
In the Terrigal Rimba game. I'm unaware of the player. I apologise, but a player broke his leg in the
Avoca game.
Yeah, pretty major break, a pretty nasty break by the sound of things. So
just a freakish weekend. Like even one of those injuries is enough to highlight, the following weekend. But yeah, freakish thing for 3 of them to happen. Also impact the game. Not just an injury that's a shoulder thing and go off, but to severely impact the game.
One thing we might do, mate. We'll move on to the women's,
Yep.
and then I've got a little bit of an idea around the injuries and what's been happening, how we can support the players in the community. But I think we might touch on that after we maybe after we do the preview. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, brother.
Let's do it. All right. Well, the preview of round 8. Let's start off with the women's. The Lakes hosting Avoca.
This will be a good game, this burner. I really think the Lakes women have found their feet. They've won a couple of games and they're becoming a far more competitive outfit than last year. The Avoca Beach side have coming off a big win too, like a strong win against Warnervale. This will be a really good marker for the Lakes women to see where they're at. I think they're every opportunity to really put in a good solid performance and really test their marks in regards to the top 3 teams in the competition. I'm going to back Avoca Beach unconvincingly. I think it'll be interesting to see how badly they're knocked around from that Warnervale game. I can see. Yeah, it's going to be a really close game, but I'm going to back Avoca Beach.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Avoca will get the win. I actually think it'll be convincing.
Yeah, right.
We'll see how we go.
Yeah. Well, I actually have more faith in the Lakes women. I think
Sure.
they're a better rugby club than rugby side. So my Lakes women, they'll be right.
Next game, Terrigal host Hornsby at Woy Oval.
Match of the round.
It is match of the round.
I was going
Neutral ground as well.
It is men's and women's both. It's the best game.
Yep.
Out of both. I don't even know who's playing in the men's, but I'm telling you right now, the game will not be as good as the Hornsby women playing against the Trojan women. Absolute cracking match.
So 15-14 last time they played a couple of weeks ago.
Yep. 3 tries to 2.
Who are you going?
Yeah, I
Remember the Hornsby girls went down to survey the conditions last week as well.
They did, yeah, they did do that.
So they know what's expected. Terrigal haven't been to Woy Woy. I don't know how many Terrigal people frequent Woy Woy.
It'd be
I
interesting.
think they avoid.
It'd be interesting to see who comes off better because it was a good old fashioned shellacking when they the Terrigal side obviously put the ringers through Orenbong. Terrigal.
I'm going to go Hornsby. I feel like it's the upset.
Yep.
But I think they'll be primed for this week. They've had a week off, and I think they'll be ready to go.
Well, Hornsby should know what they need to do.
Yep.
To win the game. It's as simple as that. And Terrigal, obviously, who went to school better on their last performance will win the game. It's a bloody cop out, I know, but that's how close they were in their last matchup. But yeah, the Trojan women for me.
Last game, Orenbong host Warnervale. Is this the week Orenbong become Carimba?
Well, it'll be interesting.
At Carimba. It's at Carimba.
It's at Carimba. Orenbong women. I'd be more confident in backing the People's team if they didn't have 50 points put against them by the Trojans. The Trojans are the best side in the competition. Orenbong are going to win their first match.
I think this is the week that we see Carimba.
Yep.
I think this is the
the
coming of age.
You know how you have super groups in musical terms.
Yeah.
Orenbong are really the super group of Central Coast Rugby, aren't they?
They are.
And like every good super group band, take a little time to to get their rhythm in.
It does, but it just takes that
stuff.
one appearance on a really high profile TV show.
Yeah.
And that's this weekend is that high profile late night TV show.
They could be the rugby version of the Travelling Wilburys.
They definitely.
Yeah.
And that could all start this weekend at 2:20 p.m. at Rimba Rugby Park.
Orenbong to win the match and be known as Carimba from there on in.
All right, on to the men's. Sorry, mate, just loading. Hornsby have the bye. Important to note.
Yep.
And they need that as well. They need that bye to rest up.
Plenty of running.
Plenty of hydrolytes as well.
Yeah, yep.
2 games that will fight for match of the round this week. The first, we'll go through the other 2 that I don't think contend for match of the round.
The 2 crappy games. Tell me that.
Woy host Terrigal.
Right.
I'm going to go with Terrigal minus the line.
Terrigal.
Whatever that is.
Yes, I agree. Terrigal by a substantially large amount.
I think that they were obviously be reeling from last week from losing that, and they'll be ready to give Woolwee a spanking.
I think it's really
If
important.
we're going to field 12 players again at the start, I think they might be in for a very large spanking.
I think it's really important for the Trojans to go about this match. I know it's easy said than done, but to go about this match and play their structures.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really important game for them because, they probably will be able to just throw the ball around and score 1 million points. That's not going to help them when they come up for a grafting match. So I think it's a really good opportunity for Terrigal to nail down some of their structures and organisational patterns. So
I think that has been a strength of them for the last couple of years. That when they're playing against a team they should whip, they do whip because they keep going to that. They just basically reset, go again, reset, go again. That has been such a strength.
I think there's been a little bit of that missing from what I've seen.
Yeah.
So good opportunity, but Terrigal by plenty.
Gosford host Carry On. Gosford host Carry On. Gosford Rugby Park.
Gosford Rugby Park, or better known as Tuggerah Sporting Complex.
Yes, can be both.
Either or. Flip the coin on Saturday morning.
I'm flipping. That's going to lean on Tuggerah because I think they played at Gosford all year.
Or
Red Along. But anyway, on to the game.
The Carry On Wanderers for me.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think it'd be quite convincing. Actually, this is the homecoming of Josh McGlynn, isn't it?
I think it's a good opportunity for the Red Devils to put in a good performance.
You kind of shut me down there. I think there's a real opportunity to hammer someone right now, and you're not jumping on board with me.
Yeah, I'm about the people.
You're about the people.
Yeah,
you're about Josh McGlynn. Well, he's a Carry On great going back to play with his childhood club, heading back down the hill. So Carry On for me as well. Going to keep going?
No.
There's a lot of ammo there.
I was just about to tee off and I decided not to. Move on.
Please.
Move on.
Last game, the Razorbacks host Warnervale.
Yeah, this will be a really good game, this. And you know what? I reckon it's a game both sides equally need to win this game. It's of equal importance, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's good. How much has been taken out of the Razorbacks after that big victory?
I think they'll be massively buoyed by that, knowing they're at home again.
Yeah,
and it's just a repeat of the same thing.
Yeah.
And they've just got to get up for it. Obviously, the injury to Matt's not going to be a good thing.
Yep.
So that might impact him a little bit, because not only is a person, but he's also a fairly decent rugby player as well.
Oh yeah, very good, very good.
I'm going to tip Razorbacks. It's worrying though for Warnervale. Not worrying, but it's such a big game for Warnervale because they've started the year so strong.
Yeah,
they would have been disappointed with the weekend, and you don't want to back that up with another loss.
Yeah. I'm going to back the Wildcats to bounce back. I think it'll be a bloody good game. I might even try and get out there. I think it's going to be a really good game to watch.
I did say it was the last game, but it's not the last game at all because I've got to go back up. The other one that contends for match of the round, which is the last game, is the Lakes host Avoca.
Well, for mine, it's clearly a more important match for the Lakes.
Yep.
The Lakes have to win. They've got to get their season winning now. And it's not going to get easy. Avoca Beach, top of the table, playing some good rugby and getting the job done on some good teams. Geez, I think the conditions will really come to play. I think it's a case of wet conditions, which I think it's going to be really going to probably benefit the Trojans a little more. The Avoca Sharks a little more. So I'm going to back the Avoca Beach side to win in a tight one.
I think it's in the wrap-up of round 7, we sort of alluded to that Lakes are having the opposite season to Avoca at the moment, that Lakes aren't winning the games they should, and Avoca are winning the games that they should, those 50-50 games. So their season's going the opposite way. So this is critical for Lakes to get that win at home and to actually and to stamp themselves, because Lakes should be winning this game.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's no disrespect to Avoca at all. I think it's 50-50. I think it's tight, but Lakes need to win.
They have to win.
Yeah.
They have to win, and they have to win more. Avoca can afford to drop it. They obviously don't want to.
Yeah.
Lakes can't afford to drop a match. They have to win this.
I'm going Lakes. I'm going to tip them at home. I think this is the week they turn around. All right, well, that's round 8 done. Or preview of round 8 anyway. All right, Barthy, we thought whenever we can, we sort of get people on the show because we do, highlight some facts that people aren't very happy with, and we'd like to get people on the show to defend themselves. So,
well, he needed to defend himself because
it was a horrible display. 1 from 8, wasn't it, last week?
Bring back Scotty Hanley is what I'm saying. I've been campaigning for it.
Well, that's what we have. Lachie Peruch, welcome to the show, mate, from the Carrying Wanderers. How are you?
Good, mate. How are you?
We're going well. Mate, obviously a much better week with the boot this week. I think you were 6 from 7 or so this week. What was the reason for the turnaround? What was the...
Well, I'm interested. How do you go from kicking 2 from 8 to, what'd you get, 6 from 7?
Yeah, something like that.
Does Scotty Hanley get involved with you? He's the man of the people, isn't he, really? He's the people's 9.
Or does he put your jersey on and kick it for you? Or how does it work?
Oh, it depends on the week. Depends on how he's feeling about kicking as well. So,
is Scotty Hanley the type of bloke who goes, no, this one's from the sideline. You can have this one, Lachie. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, basically.
100%.
He stitches you up and
There's plenty of grubbing, Scotty.
He's like, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. That's the only way he got his 1,000. They're cheap 1,000 points he scored, aren't they? Yeah, cheap 1,000 points. So, mate, Lachie, in all seriousness, mate, congratulations. The Carrying Wanderers are going fantastically
Humming
well.
along.
Mate, just give us a wrap on what's been going on in the club and what your thoughts are.
Yeah, it's been one of them years where it's a bit tough on everybody, trying to get numbers to training and trying to get bodies on the field on the weekend. But in saying that, everyone does rope together on the weekend, and everyone turns up and puts on a good show and works for each other, and it pays off. So, in that regard, it's been good.
And what's it like? You obviously got Lou there as well for the first time, haven't you? First ever female first grade coach as well. So we've heard nothing but amazing things. So can you just tell us a little bit about what it's like playing underneath Lou?
She's probably going to be listening, so make sure it's positive.
Yeah, if you want to keep kicking goals.
Yeah. No, she's full of knowledge. So having her around the club is great, and female, male doesn't really matter as long as she's putting in the hard yards for us. We'll do the same for her.
Yeah, awesome. Sounds great, mate. You look like lots of camaraderie and good sportsmanship or sportspeopleship on after the match and some of the socials you guys are putting on, mate. Congratulations. How good was that? Yeah,
no, it was good. It was good to play again for the cup on the weekend. It was a bit unfortunate how the game ended, and it would have been good to get that last 15, 20 minutes in. But it is what it is. That these things happen, and it's always good to keep the friendship between the clubs good, and that's what we're all about. So
yeah, good stuff.
All right, well, good stuff, mate. Well, down the hill to Gosford this weekend. Hopefully, kicking boots are on.
Yeah, are you kicking this weekend?
Oh, I don't know. Scotty will be back this weekend. So
Here we go.
We'll see how many wide tries we get.
Sounds good.
Good on you, Lachie, mate. Congratulations on a great season so far, mate, and go well.
Thanks, boys. Take it easy.
Hey, mate. We done?
We're done, mate. I think you got something else to talk about, don't you?
Yeah, before we're done. We've had a horrible weekend of injuries. Major injuries, badly broken legs up at Warnervale. We had dislocated hip at Carryong, had a neck injury at Arimba. And it got me thinking, for those, well, to be fair, that the insurance that you get with your rego is a complete
shit house.
Yeah, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
And, mate, I've been thinking about, because it's not unusual for clubs to put the hat around, do a raffle and try and help someone out who's sort of had an injury or doesn't have sort of income insurance and to help them, help someone sort of get through a tough time, which is absolutely fantastic and will keep happening. I know, for example, I know that the Terrigal Rugby Club have plans in place to put a couple of things in to help Matt with his injury.
Yep.
And I have absolutely no doubts that sort of Evoca will be doing the same, and as will Carryong for their Lakes opponents. But it got me thinking. I was chatting with a few guys on Sunday, and maybe it's time we spoke about or looked at a trust fund for a player's trust fund. And trust funds themselves are very expensive to set up and establish, and it's normally a substantially large amount of money. But I don't see any reason why we can't establish a fund that is open and transparent.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about giving players and paying their medical bills. That's because that wouldn't be the responsibility. I don't believe. But I think there's an opportunity there, a little bit like the B and Boost what we spoke about. Let's say that you're doing it tough. You can't work and you got a power bill. Send the power bill to the trust, to the players' fund, and if it's for lack of a better term, if it's a proved injury or it's something that they agree to support, then they'll pay the power bills, or that sort of range. It's still a little bit in its infancy of my idea, but I think as a community we can support our players better than the freaking insurance does.
The insurance is horrible, and the insurance also. I know a lot of my mates personally aren't playing rugby because of the injury, and it's the thought of if I get an injury, I can't work. I can't support my family, so I'm not going to play rugby for that reason.
Yeah.
So the insurance is there. The insurance is very tedious and doesn't cover everything either.
No.
So that I suppose having that sort of extra layer there, and really that's what you want. You don't want handouts from anybody, but if you can't pay a bill, because you've had an injury for rugby, and I think it's probably the only time that we've been able, with how the competition's going at the moment, the community spirit around the competition, it's probably a really good time that we can do something like this.
Yeah.
Or if we can get something up that is able to go, because I think everyone around the Central Coast, whenever there's a horrible injury that's happened, we had again 3 of them on the weekend. There's no one that's sitting back and going, we shouldn't really do anything to help out. The amount of things that we had that were sent through that were like, this is what's happened to the player. Like, we might set up something, in the past, and we did it for Tim Poesi as well. We just, shared that, or we didn't do anything. Sorry, Lakes did something for Tim Poesi, and obviously shared that around, and a lot of other clubs jumped on board with it. And that's really special that you've got that you got people in the community that are willing to jump on that.
And we can still have that, and we should still have that, and clubs should still do that. But I think as a broader rugby community, we can put some things in place to really support each other. So, mate, let me think about it for a little bit longer.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, any people out there who have some thoughts on the idea, would like to get on board and sort of message us about it. I think it's something that I think there is something that we should look at as a community, and I think it's an opportunity for us to really sort of take this opportunity to look after each other, and support each other. So anyway, that's a bit of an idea I've been having. It's in its infancy stage. If you've got any ideas, want to get on board or anything like that, DM us here at the podcast, and we'd love to chat further with you. I think it's something very important for us. But anyway. Anything else for the weekend? Mate, we've got a great round of rugby heading up. I had Adam McCormack, Nadsy, friend of the show, send me through some photos of some Terrigal juniors playing in Sydney, which was great. So Nadsy, keep them going through. I don't know if Nadsy is that old. I don't know if he knows how to work social medias and those sorts of things.
Relative to send it through for
you. It actually the photo came through via pigeon. It landed on my front door and anyway, but it that'll do me. I think I'm done. I just caught a glimpse of my. I've done well to last out that long. I've just got a glimpse of myself in the camera here, and this shirt, or this jersey, in that view. Gargoyles. The gargoyle. I thought I wore it once before, but I don't think it's an eyesore. So I apologise to everyone that's copped the YouTube of 40 minutes, whatever we're running for. And those of you who are just listening through the podcast, it's a little bit. Well, it looks a bit different now, but it's ugly. That's the best way I can describe it. Yeah, it's quite ugly, and I think it was probably the way I'm sitting doesn't really make it flattering either. Anyway, that's enough about us. Round 8 this weekend. Get out, support local rugby, support your canteen, obviously, most important part, and make sure you tag us on the socials this weekend, obviously. Keep that up, because the more that you share everything, the more you send things to us, the more that we can put it out in the community, and as always, keep growing the game of rugby in the Central Coast. See ya!